जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारे। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारे। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेशियल अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की, ISKCON बेवटी फाउंडर आचार्य जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेशियल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजमी वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। समावित भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees. Glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3rd, chapter number 13 and text number 44. The appearance of Lord Varaha. The residents of the higher planetary system, Janalok, Maharlok, Tapolok, they are praying with very confidential revelation that Lord Bor is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By wonderful characteristics, but here in this particular verse, this will be understandable pretty clearly for us, those who are students of Srimad Bhagavatam. Vidunvata Vedamayam Nijam Vapuhu Janas Tapah Satya Nivasino Vayam Sata Sikhodharat Uta Shivambu Bindurbihi Vimrajamana Brisham Isha Pavitaha Vidhandatad Vedamayam Nijavapuh Janastapasatya Nivasino Vayam Satashikhodbhuta Shivambu Bindibhi Vimrajyamanam Brishamisha Pavitaha Vidandata Vedamayam Nijam Vapoho Janastapasatya Nivasino Vayam Satashikhodbhuta Shivambu Bindubhi Vimrujyamanam Brishamisha Pavitaha Vidandata vedamayam nijam vapu Janastapas satya nivasino vayam Satashikodbhuta shivambu bindubhi Bimrujyamanam vrishamisha pavitaha. Mothers, Vidhanvata, while shaking, Vedamayam, personified Vedas, Nijam, own, Vapubhi, body, Jana, the Janaloka planetary systems, Tapa, the Tapoloka planetary system, Satya, the Satyaloka planetary system, Nivasina, the inhabitants, Vayam, we, Sata, hairs on the shoulder, Shikha Udduta, sustained by the tips of the hair, Shiva, auspicious, Ambu, water, Bindubihi, by the particles, Vimbrujyamanaha, we are thus sprinkled by Brasham, highly, Isha, O Supreme Lord, Pavitaha, purified. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Supreme Lord, undoubtedly we are inhabitants of the most pious planets, the Jana, Tapas and Satyalokas. But still we have been purified by the drops of water sprinkled from your shoulder hairs by shaking of your body. Ordinarily, the body of a hog is considered impure, but one should not consider that the hog incarnation assumed by the Lord is also impure. The form of the Lord is personified Vedas and is transcendental. The inhabitants of the Janas, Tapas, and Satyalokas are a most pious person in the material world. But because those planets are situated in the material world, there are so many material impurities there also. Therefore, when the drops of the hair from the tips of the Lord's shoulder hairs were sprinkled upon the bodies of the inhabitants of the higher planets, they felt purified. The Ganges water is pure because it emanates from emanating from the tip of from the toe of the Lord, and there is no difference between the water emanating from the toe of that form of the tips of the hair on the shoulder of the Lord bore. They are both absolute and transcendental. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshul Militanyena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guruho Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Vidandata Vedamayam Nijavapur Janastapastastyalu Nivasino Vayam Shatha Sikho Duta Shivam Bindubihi Mrujamana Brushamisha Pavitaha. O Supreme Lord, undoubtedly we are the inhabitants of the most pious planets, the Jana, Tapa, Satyalokas, but still we have been purified by the drops of water sprinkled from your shoulder hairs by shaking of your body. The word Vedamayam is very significant to describe the personification even up to the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How do we understand the boar incarnation is transcendentally expansion of Lord Shri Krishna? How do we understand the personification? We can understand impersonal aspect, but the Vedas have been describing the personality also. Impersonalists do not touch that part of personification. If the Vedas also become personified, Because there is transcendental potency in the Vedic literature that exposes the personification of themselves. Personification requires two things, gunas and energy. The transcendental mode of the Vedic literature, of course, there is also material modes of sattva, raja and tamagun are described. But the transcendental modes is Satchidananda modes. And when they have been reflected in the through the glance of Mahavishnu over the inert material nature, they transform into sattva, raja and tama. So, nothing is impersonal. Modes plus material energy means sattva, raja and tama and the material energy, when they are bound up, they make a form, personification. Our body you can examine. There are three material modes. We are bereft of transcendental mode. But the material modes are there and material energy is there. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and ego. But aparamyatastvanyam prakriti viddhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. Dharyate means manifesting. That can be visualized, that can be perceived. So, if the jagat has formed, all the inhabitants of jagat also have forms, but they are all material in nature. Krishna's form is with the transcendental qualities and transcendental energy. The transcendental modes are Sat, Chit and Anand. And there are three transcendental potencies of Sandhini, Samvit and Ladini Shakti. When all three are bound up by the modes of transcendental nature, it makes transcendental form. It's just parallel in manifestations. So, this knowledge is very important for us to learn, but at the same time, it is accepted by the Janaloka, Maharloka and Tapaloka's inhabitants. They are supposed to be on the highest one. And they are Jnanamargis. They derive the conclusion and acceptance of the Lord on the basis of their knowledge. But they are not impersonalist. They are not impersonalist. Impersonalist has an envious mentality not to accept the personality. That's all. Because it is difficult. But Srimad Bhagavatam is making a very clear perception. Here the emphasis was given on the personification of the Vedas. The Vedas are in the form of literature or the books or written words, but it has been bound up. But the same Vedas are revealing the truth of the transcendental nature. So transcendental modes are there and plus the compilation. So these personified Vedas were desiring to participate in the Leela of Krishna. They requested Lord Krishna that you are coming in your full regalia, you are going to demonstrate your childhood pastime. Can we please join you? And Krishna granted them. They became gopis, personified Vedas. So if personified Vedas can become gopi, why personified Vedas cannot describe the highest loving affairs of the gopis? This is an axiomatic truth which is to be compared with any other relative truths. Relative truths and absolute truth. it is said, absolute truth must be real. Satyam param dhimahi, that what we are meditating. But Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, when we see personification is there and it is relating to Satyam Param Dhimahi, then what is the Vedas also reaffirming that truth? Satyameva Jayate. But impersonalists will not reveal what is the next. Say, Na Andrutam. Na Andrutam. Andrutam means which is not factual. Satyameva Jayate. Na Andrutam means only Rutam will be accepted Param Satya. Means factual, not virtual. Man's knowledge is limited up to the virtual reality. But it is fake. And it won't stand. This is eternal. Sat means eternal. Chit means full of knowledge. And Anand means bliss. And it is going to be manifested. So Sandhini Shakti manifests that. It is the responsibility of Dauji Bhaiya, Baladev. So whenever something is to be manifested, Krishna calls him. In Srimad Bhagavatam, you see Mother Devaki, who was considering herself to be most unfortunate because she gave the birth and she was not witnessing the childhood pastimes. So she wanted. So Sanatana Goswami takes up the point. Krishna says, yes, mother, we can do. So he calls Dauji Bhaiya, can you create new Vrindavan in the shore of Dwarka? And they manifested it. So you may consider, or people may understand Srimad Bhagavatam is a rendition of like a novel. But actually, it is full of realizations of the internal potency of the Lord. When internal potency of the Lord, Sandhini Shakti, is capable to manifest Chintamani Dham, what does Brahma Samhita says about Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Sahastra Patra Kamalam Sahasrakhyam Mahatpadam Tat Karni Karanam Tad Dhamam Tad Anantamsha Sambhavam. This whole world of lotus, 1,000 petals of the Golok Vrindavan is manifested by Sandhini potency. Ananta Amsha Sambhavam. Ananta is Baladev. He is manifesting. So, this is not a fairy tale. We have to understand through axiomatic truth of manifestation of material energy and manifestation of spiritual energy. Manifestation of material world and manifestation of spiritual world. The process is the same, but the agencies are, one is superior, another is inferior. Krishna tells that besides this eightfold material energy, Bhumirapano Vayukam Mano Buddhi Revacha Ahankaram Itiya Me Bhinna Prakriti. Me Bhinna, it is separated from me. I am not in them. But Apare Misastvanyam Prakriti Viddhi Me Param. Besides this inferior energy, there is a superior energy, Param. Jiva Bhutam, it is called Jiva. Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho, my dear Arjun, this Jiva is sustaining this material manifestation. Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yayedam Dharyate Jagat. Dharyate means sustaining. It holds. When the Jiva Tattva leaves the body collapses and dies. It doesn't have any value. Inferior energy is left, superior energy is going. So, the proposition here that the residents of Tapa, Jana and Satyalokas are describing through the realization of the Vedic literature, which is transcendental. Transcendental nature. And such knowledge is available to them, and therefore they appreciate the Boar incarnation and their natural knowledge of acceptance of Lord Boar as the Supreme Personality of Godhead evokes, and they acknowledge it, that they are getting more purified. Their knowledge only purifies up to a certain level. But devotional service, why do we sprinkle even offer the water on the head of everybody? It is only a ritual? There is a meaning behind it. So, the transcendental nature of the process, Prabhupada comprises it with two processes. One is called Bhagavat Vidhi, another is called Pancharatriki Vidhi. Both the Vidhis are essential to understand that Bhagavat Vidhi is transcendental Vidhi, Pancharatriki Vidhi is reformatory activities. But in congruence with the same manifestation of the Supreme Personality of God, whether it's a Yajna Vidhi or Arti Vidhi or anything, all the Vidhis are there and the procedures are there. They are very well in tune with our theology. So, when the glorification of the Lord is coming, it is not a whimsical thing. So many great personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Kumar, everybody, all 12 Mahajans are glorifying in Srimad Bhagavatam the transcendental nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we should take out that meaning in order to make ourselves also quite thoroughly acquainted with both the processes, you know. And even Ishopanishad is telling about Vidyam cha Vidyam Yastad Vedo Bhayam Saha Avidyayam Mrityu Tirtva Vidyayam Amrutam Ashnute. Both phenomenal and numinous. I don't know what is the exact meaning of numinous, but Prabhupada puts that word. Can somebody tell? Phenomenal, we can understand it's a manifestation. Phenomena is there. But transcendental phenomena is also there. And that has been described as numinous. Can you speak louder? That's right. Good.
Yeah, phenomenal is like a manifestation. It's a phenomenon. You know, something that has aspects we can't explain. Numinous means it's measurable. It's able to be understood by calculation, measurement, so forth.
But phenomenal means then, it's the same meaning. Phenomena means things are manifested. All right? Phenomena means the things which are manifesting. And we perceive only the phenomena through our 5 blunt senses. That we accept. Science is based on only phenomenal knowledge. But sometimes it is also described as theoretical. And another is practical. Jnana vijnana sahitam yagyatva moksha shubhat. So, Vijnana means what? Vijnana has function to manifest the theory. So, personification of the Vedas are the only instruments. They are not what they call fantasy trickles of knowledge. And that's a whimsical thinking of what they call the ocean of honey, ocean of milk. But Christians also have that same, the promised land of where the honey and milk will be flowing. And Jesus was supposed to take them there. They stole from our idea, probably. So anyway, the idea here we have to understand through that personification of Vedas is not simply a make-believe thing. It should be experienced. Because if they are real guide of elevation of the humanity to spiritual level, then they have that kind of weight to manifest them. Personal manifestation or realization of this is one thing. But if everybody can realize, the Vedas are universal. They are not simply produced for certain types of people. Of course, for the highest intelligent level, if this knowledge can be distributed throughout the world, everybody will be benefited. So, Srila Prabhupada put in Srimad Bhagavatam all the explanations which are necessary to promote the thinking pattern of our Vedic times. And they are not the stories of trinklets. To consider themselves very purified because of the water which was on the tip of the hair and the shoulder of that boar incarnation shook up just like a pig can also shake up, and can sprinkle anywhere and everywhere, and you don't want to stay around because it's all dirt. But here is completely reverse reaction. They think this is purifying, more than our knowledge. That is, the mercy of the Lord has been reached to this inhabitants of Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Mahaloka. So, this is the comparison also that Ganges water is pure because of its emanating from the toe of the Lord, and there is no difference between the water emanating from the toe or that from the tip of the hairs of the shoulder of the Lord boar. Both are absolute and transcendental. Absolute truth is Satyam Param Dhimahi, and that is the subject of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? And when we talk of absolute, means everything about absolute is also absolute in nature. That means he is never formless. He can be formless, and he can have the ultimate form also. Both are possible. One cannot simply hang around on the idea that, oh, he is impersonal, that's good enough, so we can take over from there. But they show their enviousness to become God. But Srimad Bhagavatam and the purport of Srila Prabhupada tells us that, yes, we have something more to gain, and try to make clear in front of the non-believers that how this is the manifestation of the absolute truth. Srimad Bhagavatam glorifies from the first verse to the last verse absolute truth only about Lord Shri Krishna. So, a dramatization of the Lord Board in shaking up his shoulder so the water can be sprinkled. We may see that it adds to an easy understanding. But the Lord Boar was so much humongous in size that it must have purified the three worlds. Why only the top three inhabitants of these three planets, higher planets, they are glorifying? If they can be purified, what to speak of others? Those who are in knowledge can be purified, but those who are ignorant can also be purified. They may not understand, but the purification is there. So, this is a wonderful exhibition of the transcendental nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is well distinguishable from any material manifestation. We cannot compete. Nobody has ever done, even out of envy, neither Hiranyakashipu or Hiranyaksha. Now, Hiranyaksha must have received some drops here or there. Now, that infuriated his anger. Oh my God, who is this? Only the envious people cannot be purified. So, Krishna will purify some other way. No, he gave a slap right from the left leg and he died. Otherwise, that was a show of club fighting only. The Lord knows how to do the sudden situation, bring it, and one will not be able to realize. He was willing to be defeated by the club, but no, Lord cannot defeat it, because the Lord lost his club. It dropped. And everybody was in anxiety, including the demigods. They were in anxiety. Oh my God, what will happen now? But without club, with simply a little slap on the left ear, generally slap is given on the left ear because that is deadly. It loses the balance, but it ruptures the carotid artery also. So person is sure to die. Yeah. I think the corporal punishment was done before, and the kids were slapped right on the ear, and that is very dangerous. Elsewhere, no problem. But then slapping means slapping, Anyway, it's another point that however materially elevated one may be, but the Lord is impartial to bestow the mercy to everybody. But when it comes as an acknowledgement from the higher material platform, it is easy for the lower planetary systems inhabitants to accept what the higher says about it. Yadyadacharati shrestha tatta evetaro jana sa yat pramanam kurute lokastadano vartate. So, we may not know too much, but yet the manifestation is a reality, and spiritual manifestation is the supreme reality. So, anybody has any question? Right. Jai.
Thank you, Maharaj. That was brilliant class. I'm trying to picture these leelas very hard. The Lord assuming a form, his body is spiritual, but yet they can see it. And it starts at the top of the universe and stretches and grows all the way down to the Garbhodak ocean. And then when he rises up from that ocean to place the earthly planets on the surface of the water, he's still so huge that the water from his shoulders is touching the topmost planets of the whole universe. We can't imagine that. You imagine a wave of water that goes up to the top of the universe? These are wonderful, inconceivable images that you've described for us today. So I just wanted to thank you because it astounds the mind. It takes our mind beyond its capacity just to try to hear and think of what this would look like from the perspective of the residents of the highest planets, that they could see this.
The Lord wants to show He is perfect and complete, and everything is embedded in, is within Him, cannot be without Him. Therefore, the Lord wants to touch everything that is in the firmament. It can become bigger than the biggest, as well as some smaller than the smallest.
That is a great explanation of the Lord being complete. We're having class on that, Lord being complete, by your god brother Sannyasi.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, that was such a beautiful class. Just wanted to clarify, I had gotten it backwards. Numinous means religious, spiritual, or religious and spiritual phenomenons, and phenomenals meaning physical phenomenons we see with our senses.
Have you studied science?
I just looked up the definition. So.
Unfortunately, I did study science. So I have to confront every time. So...
After this Leela, I can't remember the subsequent text, but then what does Lord Varaha do? How does he become unmanifest to those residents?
When the job is done, he will withdraw everything. Everything collapses. But spiritual world, the spiritual energy is never deteriorating. You know, it becomes very distinguishable between the energy and energetic, and they cannot be separated. Only the manifestation is done by the energy.
You know, for those of us who have studied something about the laws of gravity, how it works in physics, one of the great scientists of the material world, after explaining the law, these higher laws, he commented, "And how wonderful is it that God did it that way?"
Yeah, they wanted to become God and they ended up becoming completely opposite to it. So they wonder, how did we turn into atheists? Krishna favors only the devotees. And those who are doing on the basis of good and bad, that's material. He says, samoham sarva bhuteshu na dvesti na priyosime. But ye bhajanti to mam bhaktya te api chashvaham. Krishna only favors the devotees, but he does not favor the good workers or bad workers. Let them maintain the material world. But spiritual world is open only to the devotees. Therefore, when the Lord withdraws his Leela and enters into his own realm, everything is contained within Golok Vrindavan. And the manifestation is also is an expansion just to make us understand why did Krishna expanded him in so many personalities with different names and functionalities. Why? Just to reach us, he had to expand himself like Paramatma. It can be smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. Why? Krishna loves his devotees. Therefore the expansions are there. That is the only answer you will receive, that there is a high affinity from the side of Lord Shri Krishna to have his part and parcel back to him. If you see, when Gopakumar came up to Golok Vrindavan, his spiritual master left him, because spiritual master is also a living entity and he has his own relation with Krishna. But Gopakumar was waiting. He entered in Golok Vrindavan alone, came and saw the village life and everything. And Krishna was not seen. So there was think, oh, it is Godhuli, so at the time of the cows and calves will be coming back, so there will be some dust and everything. And Gopakumar felt, yes, it is time for him to return from grazing the cows and calves. So he said, then gradually they are seeing coming, he's seeing the dust in the air, then he hears the flute. That must be Krishna. So he's not speculating, but it is so much in tune that Krishna will be appearing. So gradually when he sees the form of Krishna, it was quite far, And for him to visualize that Krishna is coming, but soon Krishna ran towards him and embraced him and telling him, "Oh Sarupa, where were you all this time? I missed you so much." And Krishna cries on his shoulder. Gopakumar was simply astounded. So each and every living entity who are separated from Lord Shri Krishna, Krishna feels more pain of separation than what we feel. So the knowledge of the Absolute is essential, but at the same time, knowledge of personification is also extremely important. Personified Vedas are there to help us. What we think of Krishna, and Krishna behaves completely opposite, unprecedented. We never thought of it. And Sanatana Goswami reveals us. Transcendental literature is for realization, and we should, hope that we can do something. So, thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada. Yes, go ahead.
Excuse me, Maharaj. There's a planet where Lord Raha resides, just like many of his other incarnations. So what happens on the planet of Lord Raha? Does he come as a boar? Or the Lord's ever expanding his pastimes, and he's eternal. So those pastimes are the residence of that Golok. Is that what happens there? Is he a boar figure? Are there pastimes continuing on in that figure, or in the form of Lord Nrsingadev, or do you know? Sorry.
Lord Vara appears in Rakta Vara and Sveta Vara in different millenniums. The choice of the color is the supreme desire in order to, show the mercy to the inhabitants of planetary systems wherever he appears. In South India, Varahadev is much worshipped than in North India. The pastimes of the Lord when he withdraws within the internal potency of his personality, and just like appearance and disappearance, appearance and disappearance both are transcendental in nature. So disappearance is also very transcendental. Janma karma chame divyam evam vettiyo tattvata. And Prabhupada said that Krishna doesn't talk much about his disappearance. And that purport, Prabhupada says, it's janma and karma only. Disappearance must be very, very bewildering. That it can throw us into some material pool, and we will be completely, even though we are so pious and believe in Krishna and his mercy and then, but if we misunderstand the disappearance, we are gone case. You can see when Krishna disappeared, that place is called Bhalakshetra in Prabhas. That is located in near Somnath in Gujarat state. And Bhalakshetra has been glorified simply on the disappearance, but they are glorifying Krishna disappearing or died. Krishna died because of a hunter's bow. It's extremely difficult to make anybody understand that how Krishna goes. But Srimad Bhagavatam tells that this is not ordinary thing. Krishna wanted to withdraw, fine. He made Jara to shoot an arrow, but that is only not coincidental. It was very purposeful. That both the appearance and disappearance are also very divine in nature. So unless and until we cultivate divinity in ourselves, how can we approach divinity of Lord Shri Krishna? The process, Brahma tells us, that we have to, how to rise above the base modes of passion and ignorance. Maya hi yasya jagadanda satani sute traigunya tad vishay veda vitayamana sattvaavalambi parasattvam vishuddha sattvam govindamadi purusham tamami. This is the methodology. We have to rise above the mode of goodness, parasattvam. Our process is of parasattvam. Chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds. They are transcendental, but it's an intermediary because it's Goloka Premardana Sarinama Sankirtan. It has been imported from Golok Vrindavan. So it's not ordinary, it is transcendental in nature, but it is available for our purification. So, Parasattva is essential in the practice. Most of the religious believers, they do not have Parasattva. They lack there. So they have to understand on a material platform. That's okay, but that does not glorify Lord Shri Krishna for the devotees. We do not like to read those things that the hunter shot an arrow and Krishna died. Oh, it is only 5,000 years old. Also, there must be some, excavation should be done and bring out the bones of Krishna and see. That's a speculation of an utter kind. But they don't want to do that either because they have something backbiting within themselves. Then after all, why should we disturb the something which was amazing, even though if it is a human body? And most of them, the impersonalists, they think that Krishna appeared in a human body. No, Ramchandra appeared in human body, but Krishna is appearing in human-like body. Manushim tanumasritam param bhavam ajananta mama bhuta maheshwaram. It is difficult. Therefore, Lord Krishna appeared as Lord Ramchandra prior to his appearance, because that was the Lord's incarnation in human form. Ramadi murtishu kala niyamena tishtan nanavataram akarod bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhavat paramah pumanayo govindamadi purusham tamahamajan. There are differences, maybe a very slight difference, and those who are interpreters, they may say, oh, it's not much important. But those who are very sensitive on the spiritual aspect, they don't want to compromise their understanding with their material understanding. It cannot be same. So we have to understand how did Lord Brahma disappear. It's very astonishing. But unfortunately, we were not in the time to understand that also. So we are understanding in Kali Yuga through the personified Vedas, and already explained that the inhabitants of Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, they acknowledge their purification. Our purification is long way yet. So let's try to relish only the common understanding. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah.